Hi everyone, it's Bert from Season Gaming, and welcome to this week's Bitcast. I'm joined as usual with Ains and Dan. We don't have too much news for you this week. It's kind of that weird week in December where we're getting ready for the holidays, but we do have a couple things we're going to go over. We have the fun Name That Game, and then we have the on-the-spot question, which I'm looking forward to ask these guys before the holidays. Now, we are in the middle week of December, so next week and the week after that will be kind of an interesting scheduled recording because of the holidays, but we'll still get the Bitcast out to you. We're going to go ahead and start the news this week. Like I said, not too many items this week, but we did want to go over a few of them. One of our favorite characters, Geralt, is coming to Monster Hunter. So, Ains, I know you're a big Monster Hunter fan. Are you going to be buying the game now, or are you still avoiding it? What are you doing?
Yeah, no, still avoiding. I just can't get into that franchise. I know people love it. I know it's one of those really beloved franchises that people put a ton of time into, but I've tried to get into it several times. I was in the beta for Monster Hunter World, played it after release briefly, and it's just not me. But this is cool. I think of all the kind of cross-licensing things we've seen lately, this is a real good fit because, I mean, Geralt and monster hunting, that's what he does. So this is pretty cool. I hope it's not just a skin, but they give him like his abilities and his signs and certain things. I don't know if any video have been released of this yet, has it?
Yeah, there has been a little bit of video, mainly like the Monster Hunter trailer stuff in there. I think there's a quick shot of Geralt in it. But kind of they've added a few characters from different franchises, and they do have kind of their own type of character, not really a skin. So that's kind of a cool thing.
I mean, it basically boils down to a skin, though. I've played with Aloy, and while it's cool, she's really under-leveled after you get to a certain point. So it's nice to use her, when you can, but at one point in the game, it just becomes where you can't really level up her weapons and armor as well as you could your own stuff. So while this is awesome, and I'll probably jump back in and play a little bit as him, I'd like to see how they implement it. If he's implemented for like the higher level stuff, great. If not, I'll probably just continue to use my own stuff, at this point. So.
It'd be cool to play co-op with Aloy and Geralt.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I think Mega Man
it does have his same voice actor too, I believe. So with all the stuff that is in there, that's kind of neat. Yeah. And they also didn't give us a firm date on when he's going to be actually in the game. They've only told us early 2019. So I'm not sure what that is. They have also kind of announced a new DLC coming called Iceborne. That is also not a firm date. They simply told us that is going to be fall of 2019. So obviously a little bit later. But Geralt has been kind of shared all over the universes lately. He was in Soul Calibur, which was kind of a neat thing. We got to play with him at E3. That was kind of fun. But I don't know. It's kind of I'm glad CD Projekt Red is kind of sharing that license around a little bit to see him kind of come to other games.
Yeah, and I think that's partially due to the fact that so many people are begging for more Witcher content, and they're not actually working on a Witcher game right now. So at least we get to see him in other areas.
Cool. Dan, did you play Soul Calibur at all? I know we've touched on it a few times. Me and Ains aren't the biggest Soul Calibur fans anymore, but I know you play almost everything. So did you play that?
Yeah, I did, and
that's the one you got the refund on, isn't it?
I tried to, and I got shut down. Thanks, Xbox. Yeah, here's the problem. I remember playing the older Soul Calibur games, and I really liked them. I have fun with them. Nothing too serious, but I like the story. And there was more live action, like kind of cut scenes and some other stuff. This one, you basically have to read a damn novel that's poorly written in between, the whole story thing. And you really can't just pick your character. I mean, as far as I could tell, maybe it's just too much. There's like 15 different game modes. I don't know what any of them do. I tried to create a character. It was trash. Even though I see all these people putting up these awesome character creations, I can't figure it out to save my life. Yeah, I hated it. So I really wanted to play as Geralt and go through and kind of do like his story through the Soul Calibur thing. But I can't figure out how to do it. So it just pisses me off. And, God damn it. I really wanted to play the game. So
it sucks. Yeah, fighters these days have tried all kinds of new things to stay fresh, I guess. And unfortunately, Soul Calibur is not selling that well. People have been talking about their sales numbers, and it's just kind of like, okay.
Not surprising.
Yeah, it went on sale like 2 weeks after release.
Yeah, which is kind of a telltale. Yeah, and well, actually, while we're on the Soul Calibur topic, so 2B from Nier Automata is coming to that game. And depending on when you're listening to this, she might be available already for the game. She was there on December 18th. So depending on when you're listening, as of we're recording, she's not in the game yet, but she is coming as a DLC character. If you did buy the season pass, she's automatically part of that. So she's still part of the season that is included in the season pass. The rumor of the standalone cost, if you're not part of the season pass, is around $5 to $6. They haven't really kind of shared that information. But if you're a Nier Automata fan and if you're a Soul Calibur fan, she's now part of the universe as well. Dan, you gonna do this one?
Yep. Sure as shit, because I bought the stupid gold edition or whatever it is, so I get it anyway. Yeah, there we go.
Man, cracking me up, man.
Gosh, it's killing me.
And so you don't care either way on this one.
I love Nier Automata too. I mean, that's the thing, it's
No, we can move right on past me on this one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our next story, guys. So one of my favorite franchises of 2 generations ago, gosh, it's crazy how far this one, Beyond Good and Evil, there was some details shared this week. So earlier in the week, there was a Beyond Good and Evil 2 developer diary that was released from Ubisoft. Kind of cool to see. They shared a lot more details about the game. I guess you would consider it gameplay, but it seemed like more like a tech demo that was kind of shared here. Got to see a little bit more about the world, space traversal, and kind of other items about the world. Did you guys take a look at this one? I definitely took a look at it, but a lot of it was just kind of really early content that I usually don't take too much to heart.
Yeah, I definitely checked it out. It's interesting because it seems like the scope of this game is far, far beyond the scope of the first one. I did play the first one. I didn't finish it. In fact, I didn't get that far into it, but I know it's a beloved franchise. I know we've talked about it. But I like the look of it. I love the art style. The characters seem really kind of endearing, and I think that the exploration is really neat. The sky combat and how you can go to different worlds and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. Michael, is it Michael Ansel?
I believe so. Yep.
The creator of it. He's one of those creators in games I really love. Like if Ken Levine's name is on something, I'm checking it out. Michael Ansel is one of those guys. If you're not aware of him, he Beyond Good and Evil. He did the new Rayman games, which were fantastic platformers. So I'm sure it'll have a lot of personality and heart.
Yeah, I'm about the same as you, Ains. I played a little bit of the first one, never finished it. But I'm looking forward to this one. It looks pretty cool. I mean, the art style is fantastic. So I did not read anything about the diary or anything, so I couldn't speak on it too much. But
yeah, the one and only negative thing that I got from the diary was that they're going to make the game a lot more online. As far as an online presence goes, there was going to be the availability for people to be on there together and playing in this big online world. I'm kind of over that whole thing where you have to have everything online and everybody has to play with you. I like the single-player story-based games a lot more than I do the online games. So I hope that doesn't take away from the story that was on the first one, and you're all of a sudden playing this online massive story. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm hoping that doesn't ruin the experience for me personally. I do know some people do like that stuff, but I don't. So we'll see. Moving on to the next one. So if you are part of the Walking Dead Telltale series fans, we did get some good details. The next game in the series is coming out January 15th. This is the next episode, also known as Episode 3, which was rumored to be fairly far along in development when the studio of Telltale kind of went under. Skybound did pick up the game, as we all know, from a development standpoint, and Episode 3 is coming out. We all were very excited when we heard that Clementine's story was going to be completed here. So we are getting our next episode right around the corner.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I haven't played the first 2 yet because I was hoping somebody would pick them up, and I want to play them all together. I kind of bounced around depending on the Telltale games. I've played, I'm pretty sure, every one of them, except for like the Back to the Future. Is that Telltale? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the first one, I think.
It was garbage. That before that though, I played like The Walking Dead. So going backwards, not a good idea. But I love Clementine's story. I played all the other Walking Dead ones. I played, Wolf Among Us, the Batmans, even Game of Thrones, as hard as that one was to get through. But I'm ready for it, man. I'm glad somebody picked them up and we get to finally finish the story, hopefully.
Yeah, nice to see a lot of the original developers back on it too, which was cool. I think this one's only 4 episodes instead of 5, if I'm
Correct.
remembering correctly. Okay.
Yep.
So pretty cool. This is only less than a month away now, and then episode 4 will probably be right around the corner. And as Dan said, get to finish Clementine's story. I think she's one of the she's a really interesting character from this generation, or tying back to last generation, because it's one of those continuous characters that we've watched grow up in a video game, which is really rare if you think about it. And people really just love her. They feel like, they have some tie to her. So great that the people like Dan who love that story get to finish it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I played all of them, but I didn't play the most recent. So I played season 1, season 2. Then there was like a little bit of a spinoff that they had with one of the characters. I did not play that one. Yeah, and then I didn't play the New Frontier, I believe it's called, either. So I need to go back to those, but I have enjoyed them quite a bit. So my favorite Telltale game is the Tales of Borderlands. It's my favorite one. So I am happy to see this one go back and get finished. By the way, that episode is called Broken Toys. So once again, January 15th for that one. Ains, I'll let you take the next item here on Anthem, just because I know you're got some early access there if you want to share a little bit of that, but also kind of the news on what's going on with the demos.
Yeah, so there was a closed alpha for Anthem last weekend. Me and one other buddy we chat with were playing it together. Well, not really together because it was kind of broken. But we were chatting while playing it, and not allowed to share hardly anything on it at all, to be honest. So I'm not going to screw us there. But I will just simply say it's beautiful, plays really well. I have some concerns. We'll talk more about it in the future. January 25th, I think you had here, Bert, is the launch of the demo. I think that is a pre-order beta date, whereas everyone will get open beta access on February 1st. Is that right?
Actually, a little deeper on that one. So the January 25th demo is only for the special editions if you ordered those. If you are a standard pre-order person with the standard vanilla copy, you do not get the early access to the demo.
Yeah, and it's EA, and they're doing one of those dumb special editions, at least dumb in my opinion, where it's $20 more, it's $80 instead of $60, and it gives you hardly anything. You get like a little early access and a skin, and it's kind of like they did for Battlefield Deluxe and a few other titles they've done recently. So up to obviously you if that's worth it. But my biggest concern about this game, and I won't go too long, it's just the loot and build system. We've talked at length about Destiny and how shallow the end game loot and character build system is. I've never been a fan of it. My biggest hope for Anthem was that it was more like Diablo, less like Destiny. And there was an article that came out this week on a site, I forget the site, but they went into a little detail from a live stream they did with BioWare, and it was promising. It showed a lot of variation in how you can build out your weapons and how it can tie to character builds tying to your weapons, which any good ARPG does. So I was a little down on it after being really hyped after E3, but now I'm kind of back up on it again. So I'm looking forward to playing the full demo and seeing what the system's actually like.
Yep, it's a good thing I was one of those schlubs that ordered the special edition.
You may want to see what's in it, because it's not a lot.
Well, I can't cancel anything apparently because
Oh, you did digital. That's right.
That's right.
Did digital, can't do that. For everyone else, if you are a Anthem fan and maybe are interested in it, the open demo will be February 1st for everyone else. The official release date is February 22nd, so Q1 of 2019, right around the corner. So like I said, and Ain said back at E3, we were very excited on the demo that we saw what's coming, only if they can kind of launch in a decent manner without a broken game, hopefully, then we'll be super excited about it. I mean, we've got posters and everything for it.
I will say that the flying, like it looks like you're playing like Iron Man, basically. It's awesome. It's really smooth, very fun.
Sweet. Good stuff. All right, moving over to our next one. If you are a fan of the SNES and the NES classics, according to Reggie Fils-Aimé, they are claiming that they will not be restocked after the holidays. With that being said, I have been to a lot of retailers recently, and they have a ton of these in stock. So if you wanted to get your hands on them, you might want to get them done by the end of the year, maybe a little early at the end of the year. This happened with the NES Classic a while ago, but they brought it back. They are claiming that is not going to happen again. Can never really be too sure with Nintendo. They said the same thing with Amiibos. They've all come back, so collecting is all crazy all over again. So But if you did want to get your hands on one, once again, try to get them out by the end of the year.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah, not a lot to add on this one. I've got them both. I'm glad I do. As you said, can't trust Nintendo's word on this because they've gone back on their word many, many times. So pick them up if you want one. I mean, that's kind of obvious. As you said, every time I go in a store now, there's just tons of them. They're not hard to get. So grab it and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, for historical side, the NES Classic, when it originally launched back in 2016, very, very hard to get, even if you tried to do the 1201 Midnight Order. Ains and I both tried, and it was very hard to get. Couldn't get it. And then they didn't come out for about another year or so. Then the SNES Classic came out, hard to get again once at launch. They were all over the place come Christmas time. And then they relaunched the NES Classic, same exact build. There was a slight difference in the AC adapter, in case you're wanting to know what those differences are. But once again, you can find them anywhere. They're not really, as far as a value side, they're not very collectible at the moment. They may be later on down the road, but if you're into retro gaming, this is what you want to get over some emulators and other things. It's actually done really well compared to the PlayStation Classic, which we won't talk about on this channel.
And so, just one final reminder that if you pronounce it SNES, I will find you.
A lot of people do that too. Dan, don't be that guy.
Who the hell does that?
Exactly.
Good
question, Dan.
You'd be surprised.
Shit I ever heard.
All right, moving over to our next news article. So Metro Exodus, in previous announcements and everything, they've only told us that it was coming in. Actually, originally, it was part of the fall of 2018. Got delayed to simply early 2019. We do have an official release date this week. We are looking at February 15th. February is looking like a very crowded month. But from what we have seen and heard about Metro Exodus, it is going to be a beautiful game. Hopefully the story with everybody that's in that game is continuing from the previous one, and it's going to be just as good. So I'm super excited about it. It might be one of my favorite games to look forward to in 2019.
Yeah, I played one of the first two, but I came in late. So it was one of those things where, excuse me, it was good. I mean, it was kind of, a rail shooter as far as I could tell. I didn't get very far in it. Playing on easy, died a lot. It's so stupid. But this other one, when they released the first trailer for it, it was E3 or a couple of years back.
E3 last year.
Last year, yeah, that was awesome. I mean, it looked so good, and I really want to see what it can do on the Xbox. So I'll probably pick it up if I haven't already pre-ordered it already, which I think I did. So
yeah, it's supposed to be. I believe they've confirmed this is native 4K on the X1X, which will be beautiful. It looked the videos so far have looked amazing. It's kind of funny. We talked for months about the February 22nd release date being a monster with Crackdown, Anthem, Metro, and Days Gone, and all three other games outside of Anthem have now left that date. So kind of interesting. We're getting this and Crackdown a week prior. I was thinking the other day, for me personally, I'm more interested in Crackdown. But again, this is where Game Pass is great, right? Because I don't have to buy Crackdown. I can play it on the 15th. And if I want to buy a game, I can check out Metro. But I think, sadly, this will be one I kind of wait because I know once Anthem hits a week later, I'm going to be investing a lot of time into that. So, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah, if you're kind of unsure about Metro, it is part of Game Pass. I think both titles are on there now. They've kind of come in and out of Game Pass. It is a different kind of shooter, so it's not a simple first-person shooter. You go and blow everybody away like Call of Duty. It's more methodical. You have to kind of sneak into camps, do certain things. The story is very unique to past shooters, so that's one of the things I like the most about it. It's more of like a single-player shooter. Obviously, there's no multiplayer or anything, and it's very different. You have to take care of your armor, your oxygen, everything. It's really cool. And then Metro Exodus is known as a Xbox X1X showcase title. A lot of talk about the technical side of it. The PlayStation Pro won't be able to do. And it will be available on PC, where most of its community really kind of clamors to get the new one. So looking forward to that one. Our last big news story this week is Mortal Kombat 11. So we did hear about it at the Game Awards, kind of the surprise announcement / not really surprise. We did get a bit of a leak on there. What was the big surprise is that it is coming out in 2019 and not too far into 2019. So early on, we did get the box art to kind of release this week. We did kind of have it on our site. Got a few hits on there to kind of show the cool side of Mortal Kombat, I guess. There's a lot more details that are out for it. So Shao Kahn, if you are a fan of his as far as gameplay-wise, he will be the pre-order character available for you. I believe in past ones, I think Goro was a pre-order character that you could get. So kind of cool to see that. There's a lot of brand new characters. There is, let's see, Towers of Time mode. So I believe that was also in the last Mortal Kombat, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, do you know Ains on that one? I remember going through some graveyard and stuff in the last Mortal Kombat, but
yeah, so they sometimes have those unlockables through the graveyard, like the RPG style thing, and then they have the towers that you can attack. This probably is some sort of variation on that because the towers have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And then right about Goro. So Shao Kahn's interesting. If Shao Kahn's a pre-order character, it'd be interesting to see who's the kind of main villain in this one. Cool about brand new characters. And then the last thing we heard is that Ronda Rousey, of all people, will be voicing Sonya. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest.
One of the most overhyped people in MMA ever, who's now part of the WWE. So that's very strange to me. I'm not the biggest Ronda Rousey fan, but I guess that's cool. They're trying to get some B star power into the game.
You're being very generous with that B.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that when she was in MMA, she was trying to get into movies, and she wanted to be Captain Marvel in the Marvel universe, and it didn't really get picked up, obviously.
Thank God.
So I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing. Hopefully that means that they might have some good voice characters in general. So I don't know.
I just think that Sonya is one of the classic MK characters, right? All the way back from the movie and Mortal 1. And it's like people will obviously have in their mind whatever they think of Sonya. And I don't know if people want to reassociate that with Ronda Rousey. It seems odd to me.
Yeah. Oh, well, right around the corner, we have an April release date for that game. So it should be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to see more gameplay and how they're planning on doing the game differently from the previous one, and even kind of compare it to Injustice's builds and costumes and stages and stuff. So
I did one other comment. I did see someone say, one of the developers, not from NetherRealm, funny enough, a different developer, comment that they've seen gameplay and it's remarkable. In that the trailer they showed at the Game Awards, they're like, you're going to be surprised how sharp and fluid the gameplay is compared to that trailer, because it looks like almost cinematic. And we will see it. They're doing a big event in London in January. Off the top of my head, I want to say January 19th, which is going to show a whole bunch of gameplay. I don't know if they're doing anything prior to that, but even so, that's only a month away. So.
Yeah, with Mortal Kombat 10, if you remember when that game's trailer released, it was Sub-Zero and Scorpion fighting in that forest. But it was like, there's no way the game will look like that. It looked pretty close to that trailer, so I think they might be doing the same thing again.
You mentioned the forest, too. The thing I didn't like about MKX or MK10 is they, like I said before, they really went away from some of the classic stuff. They went mostly new. And I really hope 11 gets some of the classic characters and stages back. Like, give us the haunted forest and the pit with the slime pools, and just reimagine that kind of stuff.
And
or acid pools, not slime pools. What am I talking about?
And Nightwolf, right?
Nightwolf, gotta have Nightwolf.
Dan, you're mega quiet over there, dude.
Yeah, because I don't play Mortal Kombat. The last time I played, I can't even remember the character I used. It's the guy with the big round hat.
Raiden.
Nope.
Oh, Kung Lao.
Kung Lao. Yep. The guy with the crazy kicks. I think it was in 2. That was really the last time I really played. I have it. I have Mortal Kombat XL.
The guy Sonic Fox, who we saw at the Game Awards, and I said he is a dominant fighting. He dominated the Mortal Kombat Pro scene with Kung Lao for a while.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that dude is ridiculous at fighting games. I don't know how he's that good at every single fighting game, because they're all so different.
Yep. He's actually, I think I saw he's the best Dragon Ball Fighters player in the world right now, too.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Even before the game released, he was one of the main testers for the studio, and he just blew everybody away.
Jeez.
Okay, guys, that's our news for this week. As I mentioned, news is kind of light at this time of the year. People are preparing for the holidays. Most of the big titles have released. Everybody kind of goes into a dormant mode until probably January. You'll still see news coming from us, obviously, but there won't be as much. If you look at our news this week, it's been kind of light, and it still has been, and it will be for the rest of the year, which kind of tags me into my on-the-spot question for you guys. So with it being Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever that you celebrate, my question for you guys is, did you ask for anything from your significant others or families video game based on your Christmas list that you don't already have?
I bought all my stuff.
Okay, you never. That's what I'm kind of getting at. Have you purchased everything, or did you ask for anything? No.
I'm trying. Let me think for a second. I don't know. Usually, my wife just we go out, we buy what we need for each other. We buy our own stuff, and then we wrap it. That's it's just easier to do that way, and that way we know exactly what. The only thing I actually asked for gaming wise, because she wanted ideas, was a capture card. But
Gotcha.
so I texted her that information. I was told yesterday that she lost that information. So I may not be getting that capture card. But maybe
were you trying to get the Elgato by chance?
Stupid
all right.
mic. Sorry. Yes. Sorry.
Okay. There was a killer, which is unfortunate. Now it's a little bit late, but there was a killer deal for the Elgatos at Black Friday.
Yeah,
they were almost half
exactly
off
when I sent it to her.
Yeah.
The hell was she thinking? But yeah, otherwise I'm sure she'll get me live cards and credit, because I need more of that.
Yeah, we all need more of that. And how about yourself?
No, not at all. Actually, I buy so much game stuff, and I buy mostly physical. And my wife doesn't game, so she has no idea what is up. What's new and what's fresh and what have you. So she doesn't bother anymore with that stuff, to be honest.
Well,
probably a good call.
Cool. Yeah, sorry, disappointing answer.
No, well, I mean, we all of us tend to get stuff that we are. A lot of times, my family's like, "What can I get you game-wise?" I was like, "Just give me some money." More than likely, you're going to get me something that I have already, or I'll have to return or something. And
gift cards are good.
Gift cards somewhere is good too. Cool. Well, what are you guys currently playing? As we're kind of telling out here, what are y'all playing these days? I know everybody's kind of taking a break from Red Dead, thankfully.
Right. There's no such thing. No such thing as thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go. I'm playing, due to your guys' recommendation, I'm playing Odyssey now. Very different game from Red Dead, as we've said. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. A little over 30 hours in, as we were just talking about prior to the Bitcast. I'm about 40% of the way through the story, which I sadly I'm not invested in at all. I really like Cassandra. I think she's a cool character, but I don't really care about the story. So, but I like the gameplay. It's fun cruising around. I like the cultists and like hunting them down and killing them. I just the game is a little Ubisofty for me. Ubisoft. It's they have a certain formula with their games that I like in a lot of ways, but then sometimes I just kind of get bored with. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna try and push through and finish it. I started Below. Below came out on Friday. And I want to give a quick shout out actually to Sean Lorish. He is the co-founder of Cappy Games, Cappy Bar Games, and the audio director there. He's the guy we spoke with at E3, had a long conversation with on it, but he actually reached out to us on Thursday. I had sent him a note thanking him, and he reached back out, and I was having a conversation with him. So very cool to see that game finally released for those guys. Really good group of guys. If you have Game Pass, check it out. I think I joked with you guys that it's not your guys' style of game at all. So I would recommend not going in. It's very dark, very cryptic. There's zero instruction. You pull up on a beach and you just start walking. You don't know where to go, what to do, how things work, nothing. But for an indie game, it's beautiful and dark and cryptic and serene at times. Really cool musical score, and I'm enjoying it. So playing a little more of that this morning. I think I don't know how long it is. I don't know anything to that length. So I think if I keep playing and enjoying it, I'm going to probably do a review for the site. We'll talk about it a little more in the future, but for now, I'm liking it. And then Ashen. Started playing Ashen. Pern and Chip and the crew. Powering through for Backseat Gaming. I was telling Bert earlier, I'm kind of mad at myself that I chose it to play for Backseat Gaming because I want to play it more, and now I'm handicapped. So it's just sitting there on my hard drive looking at me every time I turn my Xbox on, but we'll get back to it soon. But I think it's really cool so far. I love it.
Cool. Dan, how about yourself?
A lot of Just Cause 4, because after all these other games I've played, it's nice to be able to play a game where I can just be dumb and not care about anything. And
I heard something about like explosive cow butts.
Yes. So yeah, I mean that was in 3 too, to be fair. But me and my kids spent about an hour or so putting rockets on the asses of cows and then launching them like a rocket ship wherever they went. And you can't really tell where they're going to go. They can, they're completely random. That's part of the fun of it. It's so stupid. It's probably one of the stupidest games I've ever played, but it's also one of the most fun games I've played this year because it doesn't take itself super serious. Like, I don't even know what the story is. It's the same story that's been in the last 4 or 3 games. It's always the same. There's an island, there's a Rico Rodriguez, and then there's a grappling hook. Go do stuff. And that's basically it. But it's awesome. And
how is Bert's voice acting in it?
He's very, very good. Very, very good. He does a very good job. The accent's a little bit tired, but otherwise it's really, really good. Other than that, I played a little bit of Moss. Trying to finish that game. It's actually amazing. It's really, really fun. And I picked up Grease, is how I'm going to say it, because I'm assuming Spanish for gray. That's what that is. It's a little indie game on the Switch, and it's super. There's not much to it, and I've only played a little bit, so I can't really speak too much on it. But it's interesting so far.
What's it about? Like what kind of style of game is it?
It's a very artsy game. I think it's more story than really like any kind of platformer. I mean, it's a 2D platformer, but I think it's really focused on telling some kind of story, which I don't know yet because I don't know what it is. It's a little bit artsy fartsy. You know what I mean? Like, let's just do this to make it look like art. But what they're doing, it's so far I'm really enjoying it. I got to a point where the whole world is black and white, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you found the color red, and so red would come out in the thing. So I'm assuming eventually you open up all the colors, but I'm not sure exactly what's going on so far. Wow. But it's pretty cool. And then Smash Brothers, and that's only a few matches. I'm just trying to get my feet wet and trying to find one of the characters I like to play as, and then I'll start really get into that, I think, over the holidays. See, hopefully.
Yep. Yeah, I really like that they added Joker to it. I think that's fantastic news.
I don't even, is he come out yet? What?
No, Ains is just trolling per usual.
No, I'm not. I'm serious.
So serious.
Anything else, Dan? In your currently?
Well, I'm sure there were more, but let's limit it to 4.
Okay. I funny enough have gone back to one of my favorite franchises, and that's Darksiders 1, the War Mastered edition. The reason I'm going back to them is because I did ask for Darksiders 3, which unfortunately is selling horrible right now, for Christmas. And that's one of the things I did ask for Christmas, because people were like, is there a game that you want right now? Is there something? Because that's an easy buy for me. And I did request Darksiders 3. So I want to play the original 2, which is with Death and War, and then play with the new character in Darksiders 3 and hopefully be up to date on it. I actually forgot a lot of the game, funny enough. And it actually looks beautiful on the X1X and the Pro. If you have whichever one you have that was enhanced, it runs at 60 frames per second. It's silky smooth. And the story's still good there. So I really like that one. I did go back to Dragon Quest 11. I'm about 7 hours into it, about 6.5, 7 hours into it. It's definitely a game that I'm kind of wondering as we've gotten older, if we've kind of grown out of the JRPG formula that we kind of grew up with. It has that feeling to where each battle is starting to feel very tiring to me. The story is kind of there. And I've heard so many good things about it, about the story being amazing. And I'm just not seeing that just yet. I just don't know where the quitting part for me is to kind of say, okay, it's just not for me. I know, Ains, you had kind of a similar feeling to that game as well. It is beautiful to look at, but I'm just hoping it reels me in a little bit more, because I'll play 1 or 2 missions and then I'm immediately going back to a different game. I don't stick to it for hours upon hours like I used to when I was a kid with JRPGs.
It's not gonna change.
I hope something changes, because I love the art style on that thing, but and I like Dragon Quest. It's just I don't have the feeling for Dragon Quest that I used to, which is unfortunate. The other game that I've played a ton of recently is Super Smash Brothers, and I will segue into that in just a minute. But got to play that with some friends this week, also single player, and unlocking the roster, so that was a lot of fun. And then lastly, our multiplayer games that just are on the cycle. So PUBG, we did try out the new Blackout mode that has been updated for Call of Duty. A lot of Battlefield 5 when we can fit that in, but it seems like the Battle Royale games are still interesting us at this point in the year. And they also frustrate the living crap out of us sometimes too. So that's it. Anything else you guys want to talk about currently playing? Stuff that you may be starting this week or anything?
I did see that Hellblade went up today. last night on Game Pass. So if you haven't played that, check it out. If you haven't for some reason read our review, do that as well. And then I really want to get into Strange Brigade with you guys. So three of us got to jump into that when we get some time. I think that'd be a lot of fun in co-op.
Yep. I'm done.
Yeah, this would be fun.
And if anyone knows of any good Battle Royale game partners, please hit Bert and I up because we need some teammates that know how to fire a gun. It would help a lot. Thank you.
No clue.
little PSA out there.
And that was not a shot at Dan. More for the people who will never hear this podcast anyway. So
yeah, our big fans. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and segue to our review of Super Smash Brothers. I'm gonna need Ains to put his microphone on mute at this point. We're not gonna have any comments coming from Ains on this one.
No, I've honestly heard nothing but good things. I'm being dead serious.
Okay. All right, so Dan and I did pick up Super Smash Brothers on launch date. I'm personally doing the review. Dan, please jump in at any point if you need to correct me, add to something or something, because I know you're a semi-big Super Smash Brothers fan. I'm reviewing it for the site. My written review is up, so you guys can take a look at this as well for more detail. But I'm going to kind of mention it from a kind of short 2-minute spiel as to what I think about it. So initially, when this was announced and everything was coming out, I did have kind of some lower point of views on Super Smash Bros. We did get to play it at E3, and the stages that were given to us were exactly from the Wii U version, and even the characters and roster looked identical to the Wii U version, so I was pretty let down. Later on throughout the year, a lot of stuff has kind of come out about the game. There was a developer diary that came out, and it really showed what they did to improve this game. So in a way, this is a port from the Wii U version. The ultimate name on the actual title does really explain why it's the ultimate game. So for starters, every Smash character from every Super Smash Brothers game is in the game in some form and playable. So some of the, for example, some of the Pokemon are now part of the Pokemon trainer, so it's not their individual characters. You have to switch them out as the character goes through. Almost every single stage that has ever been in this game is in there, and they're all done fantastically well, which kind of makes me mention the point here that the stage itself is almost a character that you're fighting with or against when you're playing. With there being 60 plus characters in this game and more to come, each character is very different in the sense to where they have different things. There's 3 different Links in the game, for example, from different games. One's from Breath of the Wild, the other one's from Ocarina of Time, and the other one's from Wind Waker. And each one of them is similar, but they have different types of weapons, they have different types of attacks, and you have to play each one very differently. So even though there's a lot of similar characters, it is not a simple button masher. The game is approachable by everybody. So if you're just a kid and you only want to, a young kid and you don't know that much about fighters yet, you can somewhat be competitive for the most part. If you are an adult and have been playing fighters forever, it is pretty deep for each character and how you want to attack everything. So that's one of the things that I like about it. It's approachable by everybody. It does have a story mode, which in this one is called the adventure mode. And you kind of go through and you unlock characters that have had their spirit taken from them. And you kind of go through that. It is a Nintendo fanboy's dream come true in the sense to where there's everything from the Nintendo universe dating back to the original Nintendo. And it really kind of shows itself in that way. If I was to give this a number ranking, it's somewhere between an 8 and a 9 just because of the amazing stuff that was put in here from a Nintendo perspective. If you don't care about Nintendo that much as far as the whole Nintendo universe and you're not really into the Smash Brothers formula to begin with, the game's just not for you. It's not, they don't really revolutionize anything from the Nintendo Super Smash Brothers world. There's not any new fighting techniques or anything along those. It's literally 4 or 5 buttons that you use, and the way you attack the stages and the way you unlock things, it's really a blast. I did mention earlier that I did have some friends over this week playing 4-player. I think 4-player is really the max as to where you can really have a fun time in this game. If you are throwing 8-player matches in there, it's just literally at that point becomes a button masher because you can't really see everything that's going on. From a technical standpoint, it does look a lot nicer than the Wii U version to an extent. You got to keep in mind this is a port. Stuff has been cleaned up. Stages have been cleaned up in the background. The number of songs and stuff from previous Nintendo games and everything have been added to the game, which is really, really cool. And there's characters from different franchises, crossovers, all kinds of neat things in there too. So that's kind of my review on it, guys. I will have a more streamed out technical review on our website if you want to take a look at that. Any questions from you guys?
Yeah, I started playing. I've only really kind of scratched the surface. So do you have maybe some tips to unlock the characters a little bit faster? Because that's part of the thing, for me and my kids. At first you're locked into like a certain amount. I don't know if it's like 10 or something, your basic characters. But as far as unlocking more characters.
Yeah, so one of the cool things is the characters you start out with are the original 8 from the Nintendo 64 game, which is kind of cool. One thing that I would recommend is when you pick your character, change the difficulty to easy. I think it goes from 1 to 5 or something like that. Put it on 1 and just start playing characters back to back. There was a little trick that you could do, which is you would fight one person, and then the challenger, the new character would show up in there. You'd beat that character, you'd go to the home screen, quit, and come back into the game, and then the next challenger would show up over and over and over, so you could unlock the characters. With the patch that came out on Friday, they did do away with that, unfortunately. So now you have to unlock the characters the old-fashioned way. Do that. You can also play with your family, 2, 3, 4 player, whatever, and the challengers still roll into that way. And whoever won the match that you were playing with your family plays the challenger that's coming in that may or may not join your roster. A tip that I recommend to fight those people is get good with 1 or 2 players that you feel really comfortable with, because the challengers can be pretty challenging at that point. So that's the only thing I can really recommend. Find a stage that you really like when you're playing your character. Some of the stages, like I said, are insane. There's like a Mario Kart track, and it's from all the story characters in the game. Each one has their own stage. And when you go fight that challenger, they're going to be on their respective stage. So you have to kind of adjust to that. But patience, take your time is all I can say. And just get good at 1 or 2 characters. And then once you get all the characters, then start expanding your roster a bit.
Nice. So for me, I'm kind of curious about the story mode. You said there's like an adventure mode. You start with 8 characters.
No, the story mode, you start out with 1 character. You start out with Kirby, and you have to go through the world in almost like a Mario Party map type thing. You go move, and you go to the next thing, and then as you beat that character that has been taken over by his spirit, like the first one you come across is Mario. If you win that match, you unlock Mario to play with as well. You can stick with the characters that you've been playing. So let's say Kirby is your favorite player. You can play through the entire adventure mode with just Kirby. But you unlock the characters through there. You unlock the characters in versus mode by fighting in what is called Smash mode, which is the traditional mode in there. And then that's where your roster is available. In adventure mode, there's not that same roster.
Is Kirby the only character you play the whole time in there, or can you switch once you unlock an adventure mode?
Once you unlock a character, you can play with them if you'd like.
Cool. And then are stages unlockable too? How many stages are there? Do you know?
Oof, there is literally over 60 stages in this game.
Wow.
And they're all just massive. All of them are available at the start of the game. So you can choose all of them. They're from previous Smash games. There's a few new ones. The majority that, if you played the Wii U version, a lot of those stages will be there. There's a few new ones, but there is a ton of stages. Some I am not a fan of at all. There's just too much going on in the stage on top of fighting. Other ones I just absolutely love. So they're just really, really cool.
Yeah, that's not to get off topic. That's something we've seen in fighting games recently. MKX had some of that, with the backgrounds are so detailed and so many things happening. It distracts you from the actual fighting. Are there unlockables for each character? So like if I love Donkey Kong, which I do, he's my favorite Nintendo character. Can you unlock different skins, outfits, anything for the characters?
Not necessarily. No, each characters come with their skins ready to go the second you get that character. Donkey Kong is one of the standard characters, so you get them. They have around 8 different costumes that you can use for each character, which is kind of cool.
Cool.
Donkey Kong, unfortunately, is kind of a simple character. I think he just changes, like he has like some things on his wrist and stuff like that. And I think he has one where he gets sunglasses and stuff. A good character, which is kind of has a lot of different costumes, is Mario. He has like his standard Mario outfit. He's got the Odyssey outfit. He's got the Sunshine outfit, and he even has his wedding outfit that you can use from Mario Odyssey. So there's tons of different things you can do. It definitely depends on the character, because different characters have multiple costumes. Some just have very basic ones. I think like Ryu has like his evil Ryu look and all his other costumes that you saw in Street Fighter. It's very loyal to every franchise that is in the game. So yeah, everything that is in there is really cool.
Oh God, why do I feel like I'm gonna end up buying this at some point?
Hey, if it's playable from a one-person, a one-player standpoint, the adventure mode is not a traditional story mode. It's cool to go through and kind of see the RPG aspect of that, but it's not something that I would say the game sells itself on. It's more if you like fighters and if there's a multiplayer aspect that you can have, it's a lot of fun. It is very addictive to unlock fighters. I will tell you that though. Like I said, you start out with 8 and there's 60 plus characters. So you're constantly like, oh, I got to play the next one to see who the next random player is going to be. Is it going to be Snake? Is it going to be Ryu, Ken, Bayonetta? Are these people going to show up as my challenger? And as you get them, you try to play with them and learn their moves as well. Everybody has the same button skill set, but each person has a different way that those buttons are used for. Some are close, some are far, some are heavy hitters, some are light hitters, and you got to hit them multiple. I mean, it's all very different. So
one other question then, because this will be for me. I don't really have anyone to play locally with, which is part of the problem. My son doesn't get into Smash. Yep. Multiplayer. Have you played multiplayer? I'm sorry, online multiplayer. Have you played online at all? Is it smooth? Is it working? What?
Yeah, so me and my buddy Owen did play multiplayer match, us two versus 3 other sets of 2 people, so it was an 8-player match. Very chaotic from there. I'd recommend, like I said, a 4-player to maybe 6-player max. It's working really well. You do need to have Nintendo Switch online in order to play it. It plays really smooth, had 0 issues with it. I have not tried intentionally looking for another player to go into a match with, though, which has been a Nintendo challenge in the past. Usually they just throw you in there with random people and you can't play with friends. I have been told and I have read that has been fixed, though, so you can go in with your friends and stuff like that. So that is something that we could definitely test out.
Okay. Nice. I'll need another invite to the online day.
Yeah. You didn't take it the first time?
No, it expired. I tried to use it. It expired.
It's only good for 7 days. Dan, we could test that out sometime just to kind of see how it works.
For sure.
Yeah. Here's the promise I'll make. If they add Banjo, I'll buy it. I'm going back on the negative comments I made last week. I apologize to all those I offended.
I don't know if Banjo's coming. The director did mention that most of the third-party crossovers had happened already. There's only 1 or 2 left. So we'll see.
By 1 or 2, he meant Banjo and Kazooie.
Maybe.
All right, cool. Thanks, though. Good info. Definitely some stuff I didn't know there. And as much as I've made fun of the game, it does sound like a really cool homage for those people who not only love Smash, but love just Nintendo characters. So pretty cool.
That is the best thing about the game that I can tell you. If you are a Nintendo lover from the 80s, 70s, it's got so much in here for you just for that. Even that being said, if you're not a Smash fan, do not think this game is going to change your mind. There's a lot of cool things that you can have a friend bring over the cartridge, be like, cool, that's really cool. That was fun. All right, I'm done with it. I'm going to move over to other things. But maybe I'll bring it over, or we can play with Dan's copy when I go visit you guys soon. So
nice.
That'd be fun to play locally.
When you do visit, we'll have to get all 3 of us and make a video of the 3 of us playing, and you guys can just crush me.
You got to bring the wife and the kids, everybody. We have a big, massive match with everybody. It'd be hilarious. Basement full of people. Okay, we're going to move on to our favorite segment of our Bitcast, and this week Ains is hosting Name That Game. So Ains, I'm going to turn it over to you. You go ahead and lead us as to who's going first, etc., and we'll try our best to name that game.
Let's do it. So I hope I have these questions in a good order. We will, first question incoming. Dan, we'll start with you. All right. This game is a sandbox style game / open world.
Shit.
What the fuck?
Proper challenging questions here.
Okay. You got to start broad.
/ open world. I don't know. Red Dead Redemption 2.
That would have been a little too obvious.
Sandbox style open game. Open world game. Shit. Is it Dune?
No. That's an obscure guess right there. Wow.
Dude,
I thought you were going obscure with this.
It released in September of 2003.
Oof.
Nope.
I'm up this time, right? Okay.
Yep.
2003, so it's got to be sandbox open world. Oh crap! I don't. I'm guessing this is an Xbox title.
Trying to think what the hell. Is that like PlayStation 2 times?
Knights of the Old Republic?
Nope. Great game.
Good guess. I don't even know. No clue. I'm going to do a hard pass. I need another clue.
Weird clue,
next question.
Yeah.
It had multiplayer for up to 4 players.
Damn. Multiplayer for up to 4 players. Sandbox open world. Shit. That's not even. Oh my god. No clue, man. I mean, fuck. I have no idea. No idea.
I'm trying to think myself. I can't remember.
Can't even muster a guess.
I can't even. Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck? That's so old.
It's not that old. Golgo 13.
That was.
Diablo 2.
No, but another great game. So to your point earlier, and Bert, you're up first on this one. It was released cross-platform on the Xbox, the original Xbox, PlayStation 2, and the GameCube.
That doesn't help at all. You already told
Doesn't help one fucking bit.
It was 2003 already. Damn it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it came out. There's not a whole bunch of games that came out on all three.
I don't want to hear it.
You said it was. You said it was.
Remember, GameCube
right?
didn't get all the same support that they're doing nowadays.
You said it was cross-platform, but not cross-play. Okay.
Well, yeah, there was nothing cross-play back then.
Cross-platform 4-player. If it was on the GameCube, that means it was not online. Sandbox open world, PlayStation 2, also not really online. Shit. Yeah. Is this going to be one of those games where we're like, damn it, we should have known that?
You'll get it for sure. Eventually.
Elder Scrolls.
No.
The fuck you want me to say? What was the last clue?
It was on GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2.
Yeah, all three platforms back then.
I don't know. Beyond Good and Evil. I don't even know what the heck.
All right. We'll get easier.
All right.
It's a game based on a license.
Jesus, that's the worst questions ever. Worst questions ever.
Come on. How many open world licensed games were on all three systems back then?
All of them. I have no fucking clue, dude.
Open world.
I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
You guys are really killing this segment.
Oxenfree.
Oxenfree.
Come on now.
That's what I got, man.
Borderlands 1. Can't.
GameCube, really?
I don't know. I have no idea.
All right. It was similar in design approach to Grand Theft Auto 3.
Whose turn is it?
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Saints Row 1.
No, good guess though. That wasn't on GameCube, I don't think. Good guess. Saints Row 1 was Xbox 360 now that I think about it.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so it's based on a license on all three systems.
Open world sandbox.
Open world sandbox.
Design methodology like Grand Theft Auto 3.
Oh, I have an idea. No, I don't actually.
It's these questions will make a lot more sense once you know what it is, once you get it here. The questions get real easy soon.
Well, I hope so. I mean, it's 2003, man. It's like 15 years ago, and I've slept since then. So
I have an idea, but I don't think so. Go ahead, Dan.
Saints Row 2.
Oh my goodness, you guys are killing me. All right. It had an original story in the licensed universe that had the original writers contribute to it.
Okay, I have an idea. Dan, you're up though.
You know what? Go ahead.
You're passing?
Right ahead. I am passing to you because
is it the Godfather game?
Well, that was a good guess.
No. Good
Damn
guess.
it!
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It took place. This is going to give it away. I don't really have. Oh, no. I'll do this question instead. Sorry. Okay. It was the follow-up. Who's first on this one? Bert?
I am technically because Dan passed. But,
it was the next game after a game titled Road Rage.
Oh, no. I thought I had it. Nope.
Road Rage, open world sandbox. Jesus.
I thought this would be easier, guys.
You're talking about Road Rage from like the 3DO back then?
The game was titled Road Rage. That's all I can say.
But this is a follow-up to Road Rage, you're saying?
It's the game after. It came out after Road Rage from the same license.
Oh, I know what it is.
Spy Hunter.
Nope. Go ahead, Dan.
Is it Simpsons? The hit and run game?
There you go. Simpsons Hit and Run.
That's an open world sandbox game?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I would have never gotten it from that point, but I remember Road Rage.
I didn't even know it was 4-player online or 4-player co-op. I didn't know that.
That was hard, man. Fucking Simpsons.
I'm sitting here thinking these questions were going to be too easy originally because I'm like, what licensed open world game was on all three systems? There's hardly any. I don't know if there's any other one.
Not the biggest Simpsons fan, so I wouldn't have known that.
My next clue is it takes place in Springfield, and then the last question was just simply Dolt.
Oh shit.
Okay.
All right. So Dan did get it at least on question
7 or 8.
Yeah, question 8. So Dan is up 2 to 1 to 1.
Wow.
By the way, I'm keeping track of our history on this as we go.
Nice. All right, Dan. Well, congratulations on that one. You would have got it in the next 2 anyway, so I wouldn't have got that. So.
I don't think you guys even guessed a single game that was on all three systems.
No. But I mean, I see that kind of stuff. I have no clue. I mean, it was a game in 2003. Thanks.
Jesus.
That's not what I heard for every single one until the end when I heard Road Rage. So.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for playing, everybody. Ains, thanks for the challenging questions. We're going to go ahead and wrap up our Bitcast for this week. So for everybody that's listened, thanks for listening this far. Let us know if you actually guessed Simpsons way before we did. I feel like an idiot at the moment. But we have a few bit of content for you. So if you have not watched Backseat Gaming this week, we did have Ashen, our first episode on there, where Ains took on the first boss. We did have the Scuff Pro Kit for the Xbox One Elite controller, long-term review available on YouTube if you want to view that review. We've got some new content coming for you guys, and don't forget about the Super Smash Brothers review on our site if you want to read it and view a little bit more of our technical aspect of the game. Dan, Ains, any new content from you guys this week?
So I think Wednesday, is that right, Bert?
Yep.
We're going to have a video up. I reviewed 3 different Xbox wireless headsets. Including the newest one, the Lucid Sound LS35X, B22C8. It's just a lot of numbers and letters. But check that out. My first one, so be gentle.
Ains, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think you mentioned we're bringing a lot of new content. So we're doing Bitcast on Mondays and Backseat Gaming on Fridays. And then we've got videos coming on hardware and headsets and controllers and everything else, typically going to publish on Wednesdays. So keep you kind of entertained all week long. So really appreciate the people that have been subscribing on our YouTube channel. And to celebrate the launch of the Ashen series for Backseat Gaming, we are doing a giveaway as well. So we're giving away 6 months of Xbox Game Pass. And with all the games that have released lately, it's a great time to jump into that. Would also possibly make a good Christmas present or Hanukkah present. So that is happening right now. You can find the details on the site. It's very easy to enter. And we're going to be announcing the winner of that on Friday. So check that out.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you're listening just on the podcast side, thank you for that as well. SoundCloud, iTunes, whatever that you're listening to, thank you for your support. And we'll catch you guys next week on our next Bitcast or one of our videos.